Yes, you heard that right. A single, ordinary-looking 1972 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has stunned collectors, dealers, and historians across America. And the most incredible part? It might be sitting in your change right now, hiding in plain sight. The IT began like any other story, an unassuming coin, struck in the early 1970s, when gas was cheap and the Lincoln Memorial still shimmered proudly on the reverse. But something went wrong, or maybe something went perfectly right. A small handful of these 1972 Lincoln pennies were struck with a powerful error, one that would make them legends in the world of coin collecting. At first glance, it looks normal, copper, worn, aged. But under closer inspection, it reveals its secret. A double image so sharp it looks like a ghost hiding beneath Lincoln's words. One man in Philadelphia found one in his father's collection. He didn't think much of it, just another penny from the 70s. But when he held it under the light, he froze. The date, 1972, seemed to shimmer twice. The word liberty looked bold, doubled, like it had been struck twice by the hands of fate. He sent it to be authenticated, and when it came back certified as the rare 1972 double-die obverse penny, he was told what every collector dreams of hearing. It was worth over $1 million. To understand how this happened, you have to go back to the mint. 1972 was a busy year. The presses at Philadelphia were running nonstop. No mint mark means it was struck there. But among millions of perfect coins, a few were hit with a misaligned die, creating the now famous double die. The doubling shows most clearly on the word liberty, on the date, 1972, and especially in the words, "In God We Trust." These letters appear almost blurred, thick, and shadowed, but they're not a mistake. They're a treasure map. Every collector who knows the story of this penny says the same thing. It's not just about luck. It's about awareness. How many people have held one in their hands, never realizing it was worth a fortune? How many times has history passed right through someone's fingers? As the years went on, whispers about the coin spread across coin shows, dealer tables, and online forums. At first, no one believed it. Then, when one sold for hundreds of thousands, and later another for over $1 million, the hunt began. People started emptying their jars, searching through old dressers, and checking pocket change like their lives depended on it. Now, let's talk about how you can identify one. The 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny has several double-die varieties, but only one is worth life-changing money. You'll need good light, a magnifying glass, and patience. Look closely at the obverse. That's the side with Lincoln's portrait. Focus on the word liberty. The letters should show thick, clear doubling. Then, check "In God We Trust." The doubling should be strong enough to see even without magnification, like a shadow behind every letter. Finally, examine the date, 1972. Each number should appear bold, doubled, like an echo of itself. If you see that, don't spend it. Don't clean it. Don't even touch it more than you have to. Wrap it carefully, because that tiny coin could be your ticket to $1 million discovery. Collectors across the country have been chasing this error for decades. Some found near misses, light doubling, machine doubling, coins that looked similar but weren't the true variety. Only a few hundred of the genuine 1972 double-die obverse pennies are known to exist. Out of billions minted, only a few hundred. Imagine those odds. It's like winning the lottery without even buying a ticket, and yet, it happens. Someone, somewhere, finds one every few years. Sometimes in a roll of pennies from the bank. Sometimes in an inherited collection. Sometimes just lying forgotten in a jar. Each discovery renews the legend that life-changing treasures can still hide in everyday objects, waiting for the right eyes to see them. The story of the 1972 penny isn't just about money. It's about mystery, history, and the thrill of the hunt. It's a reminder that America's smallest coin can carry the weight of a nation's curiosity. Every collector who holds one can feel it, the pulse of time, the echo of the mint, and the wonder of how something so small could be worth so much. A man in his 60s, retired, searching through his childhood coin albums. He's not expecting anything, just nostalgia. Then, under a magnifier, he sees it, the doubled date. His hands start to shake. He calls his son, his voice trembling. That night, they stay up until morning, looking through every penny they own. For them, it's not just about wealth. It's about connection, legacy, and discovery. That's what makes this coin so special. It turns ordinary people into explorers, dreamers, historians. Every 1972 penny holds a question. What if? And maybe you have. Maybe it's in that dusty jar by your window. Maybe it's in your glove compartment or tucked away in an old box of keepsakes. It doesn't shine anymore, but it carries the light of possibility. So tonight, after this video ends, go find your change. Grab a magnifying glass. Look closely. Every letter, every number, every shadow on that 1972 penny could change your life. Imagine this. You're holding what looks like an ordinary 2001 Lincoln penny, dull, worn, and probably tossed around in your pocket for years. But what if I told you that one version of this exact coin, with a tiny D mint mark under the date, has shocked collectors, dealers, and even grading experts across America because it's worth up to $1.8 million? Well, that's the mystery that's been haunting the coin world for years. Somewhere, out there, is a handful of 2001 D Liberty Lincoln pennies struck unlike any others. Coins born from a rare minting error so subtle, most people will never even notice it. But those who do, their lives could change forever. Let's go back to 2001. The Denver Mint was striking billions of pennies, each one made of copper-plated zinc, each bearing the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln and the word liberty. But deep in that roaring machinery, something went wrong. A tiny flaw in the die, the metal stamp used to strike coins, began producing pennies with minute differences. Some had distorted lettering around liberty, others showed doubling on Lincoln's eye or jawline. One particular batch had an anomaly so rare that collectors call it the 2001 D Liberty misstrike. For years, it went unnoticed. These coins slipped quietly into circulation, into pockets, piggy banks, gas stations, and coin jars. No one paid attention. After all, who looks closely at a penny? But decades later, as collectors began searching for modern rarities, something incredible happened. A single 2001 D penny surfaced at an auction, showing clear dye doubling around the word liberty and an unusually bold D mint mark that looked slightly off-center. Experts confirmed it wasn't a fake. This coin was real, a genuine mint error, and it sold for nearly $2 million. Now imagine being the person who found that coin. You're counting change for a cup of coffee, and there it is, the same copper-red color you've seen 1,000 times before. But this one feels different. You turn it under the light, and suddenly you notice the letters of liberty look thicker, like a faint shadow runs beside them. You flip it, and the D under the date isn't perfectly aligned. That's when your heart starts racing. Because this isn't just another penny. This could be the one. Let's pause for a second. Look at your own pennies. The year 2001. The D for Denver under the date. The word liberty to the left of Lincoln's face. Under strong light or a magnifier, look for doubling, extra lines or shadows on the letters or numbers. Check Lincoln's face too, his eye, his lips, his jawline. On some of these rare pennies, you can see faint doubling that almost looks like a ghost image. That's your first clue. Another sign is the mint mark. On the valuable version, the D isn't struck perfectly. It may be tilted or slightly raised, almost like it's sliding off its base. It's subtle, but if you see it, you'll know. Graders and collectors say it's one of the rarest modern errors ever discovered on a Lincoln cent. And because it comes from 2001, a year when billions were minted, the odds of finding it are slim, but not impossible. Think about that. Out of billions of coins, just a few could be worth over $1 million. What if one of them passed through your hands years ago? What if it's still sitting in your coin jar, untouched, waiting for someone with sharp eyes to uncover its secret? That's the thrill that drives collectors, the chance that ordinary change could hold extraordinary value. Curiosity. The world's most valuable coins weren't found by experts in vaults. They were found by everyday people, truck drivers, teachers, retirees, who simply took the time to look. One man found a rare 1983 double-die penny while cleaning his kitchen table. Another discovered a $1 million 1972 error cent in a grocery store checkout line. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Anyone, anywhere, can strike gold. Now, back to the 2001 D Liberty penny. What makes it so valuable isn't just the error itself, it's the story it tells. It's a piece of minting history, a whisper from the machines that made America's currency. Experts believe the doubling may have come from a misaligned hubbing process, where the design was pressed more than once, slightly off-center. It's a tiny mistake, but one that transformed a 1-cent coin into a 7-figure treasure. Collectors who've seen the coin up close describe it as mesmerizing. Under magnification, the doubled letters dance in the light, creating a ghostly outline around liberty. It's a reminder that perfection isn't always valuable. Sometimes, it's the imperfections that make history. If you're serious about hunting for this coin, here's what to do. First, gather every 2001 penny you can find, especially those with the D mint mark. Under bright white light or a jeweler's loupe, examine the lettering. Look for doubling around Liberty, the date, 2001, and Lincoln's profile. If anything looks off, thicker lines, doubled edges, misaligned marks, set it aside. Then weigh it. It should come in at about 2.5 grams, like a standard copper-plated zinc penny. Anything heavier or lighter could mean it's struck on the wrong planchet. And that's another jackpot. Next, take clear photos and compare them to verified images online from trusted numismatic sites or error coin databases. If it matches, don't clean it. Never clean a coin. Cleaning can destroy thousands of dollars in value instantly. Instead, have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. If confirmed, you'll have one of the rarest modern Lincoln cents in existence. A coin that could command an eye-watering price at auction. Every couple of minutes, I want you to stop and think. What if this story isn't about someone else? What if this story is about you? What if the coin that changes everything is already in your home? It's not impossible. It's not even unlikely. Because every great discovery starts when someone dares to look closer. People spend their lives chasing wealth, investments, real estate, jobs. But sometimes, the universe hides fortune in the smallest places. A penny, something most people ignore, can hold the power to change your future. It's poetic, isn't it? That a coin symbolizing Abraham Lincoln, a man who rose from nothing, could carry the same message. Greatness often hides in the humble. Congratulations, this is the rare 2001 D Liberty doubled die. The world stops for a moment. You realize the coin you almost spent on a soda is worth over $1 million. That's not just luck, that's destiny. The coin community is buzzing with hope because experts believe several more of these rare pennies still exist. Somewhere in circulation, hidden among billions, are pieces of minting history waiting to be discovered. And they won't be found by machines or collectors with deep pockets. They'll be found by people like you. People who believe in possibility, who look where others don't. So, the next time you empty your pockets, take a second glance at those pennies. Look for the year 2001, the D mint mark, the bold, doubled Liberty. Because this isn't just about coins, it's about curiosity, patience, and the belief that small things can hold immense value. History is full of stories where ordinary people found extraordinary treasures. This could be your story. The next life-changing discovery might not be buried underground or locked in a vault. It could be sitting right there, under your fingertips, glowing faintly in copper and mystery. Imagine finding a penny that could change your entire life. A single copper coin that's been sitting in your change jar for decades. The same coin you've ignored 100 times could be worth over $1 million. This isn't some myth or rumor. This is the story of the 1985 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. A coin so ordinary looking, yet so rare, it stunned even the most experienced collectors in America. It all begins with a simple mistake at the U.S. Mint. A tiny detail that went unnoticed, the absence of a mint mark. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Nothing at all beneath the date. Just the word Liberty, the date, 1985, and an eerie emptiness below it. Most people never thought twice. But that missing mark would go on to become one of the most mysterious and sought-after treasures in American coin history. Now imagine this. In the mid-1980s, millions of pennies were struck in Philadelphia, none of them carrying a mint mark, because Philadelphia traditionally didn't use one-on-cents. But something changed. Some of these coins came out with slightly different details, deeper strikes, clearer edges, and a luster that seemed almost proof-like. Experts began to suspect that a few special 1985 cents weren't just ordinary strikes. They might have been test runs, experimental planchets, or even mint errors that slipped into circulation by accident. And that's where the mystery begins. Picture this. A coin collector in the late 1990s opens an old roll of pennies. Inside, one coin stands out. It looks sharper, brighter, different. He sets it aside. Later, a grading expert confirms what he's holding. A 1985 Lincoln cent struck on a pure copper planchet when it should have been zinc. The difference? One is worth a single cent. The other could be worth $1 million. Here's the secret. Start by looking just below the date. If you see no mint mark, no D, no S, you might be in luck. But don't stop there. Weigh it. A regular 1985 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams, because by that time, the US Mint had switched to zinc cores with a thin copper coating. But if yours weighs around 3.1 grams, that means it's made of solid copper, a planchet that shouldn't even exist in 1985. That's your first clue that you may be holding something incredibly rare. Now let's take it deeper. Flip the coin over. Look at the Lincoln Memorial. Examine the details under magnification. If you see full, crisp lines in the steps, perfectly sharp lettering in United States of America, and a rich red or reddish-brown color, that could indicate a proof-like or early die strike. Collectors pay enormous premiums for coins in pristine condition. Some near-perfect examples have crossed the auction block for hundreds of thousands, and one day, the right combination of condition and rarity could easily push a coin like this over the $1 million mark. The real magic, though, is in the story each of these coins carries. Think about it. A penny minted 40 years ago, passed from hand to hand, through decades of history, unnoticed. Maybe it bought a stick of gum. Maybe it fell between the cushions of a couch. Maybe it sat in a drawer all this time, waiting for you. That's what makes coin collecting so powerful. It's not just metal and numbers. It's time, it's history, it's the chance to hold a piece of a forgotten moment. Every now and then, one of these rare 1985 no mint mark pennies surfaces. And when it does, collectors lose their minds. Grading companies rush to verify authenticity. Dealers scramble to make offers, and auctions light up with bids that climb higher and higher. Because everyone knows, once a coin like this is confirmed to be a true copper transitional error or mint test strike, it becomes priceless. Now pause for a moment. Imagine holding that coin between your fingers. The weight just slightly heavier than normal, the color just a bit richer, the date 1985 staring back at you. You think it's just another penny. But deep down, your gut tells you something's different. You take it to be appraised, and the expert looks at you, eyes wide, speechless for a moment, and then they say it. This is real. You're holding a one-of-a-kind 1985 no mint mark copper cent. Your heart stops, because you realize what that means. That tiny coin, the one that's been in your home for years, is worth more than most people make in a lifetime. Collectors would pay any price to own it. Dealers would fly across the country just to see it. And auctions would erupt into bidding wars over a single piece of copper no larger than your fingertip. Yet that's the kind of discovery people dream about. So, what makes this coin so valuable? Its rarity, pure and simple. Most 1985 pennies are ordinary zinc coins, billions made, virtually worthless beyond a cent. But when a few were accidentally struck on leftover copper planchets from 1982, the result was a numismatic anomaly. It's like finding a fossil in your backyard or uncovering a lost masterpiece in your attic. And here's the kicker. Even among experts, many of these coins still haven't been found. That means yours could still be out there. In your change, in an old piggy bank, in a coffee can in your garage. You might have already touched one and never realized it. Every few years, a new discovery sends shockwaves through the collector world. A coin once thought worthless suddenly sells for hundreds of thousands. News outlets call it a miracle penny. People start digging through their change again. Hope reignites. Because that's the beauty of coin collecting. Every small discovery carries the promise of something life-changing. So tonight, when you go home, grab that jar of pennies. Dump them out on the table. Look closely at every 1985 coin you find. Hold it under the light. Feel its weight. Because while most will be ordinary, one might not be. And if you find one that's heavier, if it weighs about 3.1 grams, shows no mint mark, and has that rich copper tone, don't spend it. Don't even clean it. Protect it. Get it graded. You might be looking at the next $1 million coin. Some say luck plays a role. Others say it's destiny. But maybe, just maybe, it's a bit of both. Maybe that rare penny was meant to find you, to remind you that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable value. But what if that same penny could make you a millionaire? What if the coin you just ignored is worth over $1 million? That's not a fantasy. It's the reality behind a mysterious 2002 no-mint Mark Liberty Lincoln penny that has collectors across America in disbelief that it started quietly. A few rolls of 2002 pennies entered circulation from Philadelphia, each looking normal. The classic copper-coated zinc coin showing Lincoln's proud profile, the word Liberty beside him, and the year 2002 below. But among these everyday coins, a handful emerged with a secret so bizarre, so unexpected, that when word leaked out, collectors thought it was a hoax. No mint mark, no clue of origin, just a flawless surface, a razor-sharp strike, and a metallic shimmer unlike any other penny that year. Experts first dismissed it. Just a weak strike, some said. Maybe damage, others claimed. But one man, a small-town collector in Ohio, refused to let it go. He noticed something different about the coin's texture, its edges, even the way light curved around Lincoln's portrait. He sent it for testing. When the results came back, it shocked the entire numismatic world. The coin wasn't ordinary copper-plated zinc. It was struck on a prototype planchet, an experimental metal composition meant for a coin redesign that never happened. Somehow, one of those test pieces escaped the mint and entered circulation. Only a few are known to exist, and one of them sold at a private auction for nearly $1.1 million. Now imagine the thrill of that discovery. A man sitting at his kitchen table, under a flickering light, holding what he thought was pocket change. His hands tremble as he learns that tiny disc of metal in his palm is worth more than his house, his car, maybe his entire retirement. You can almost hear the disbelief in his voice. It's just a penny. Every few years, coins like this appear and vanish again, slipping through generations unnoticed. The 2002 no-mint Mark Liberty penny is one of those modern legends. The first clue to spotting one lies in the surface itself. Under good lighting, a genuine example has a smooth satin finish, almost mirror-like, unlike the usual dull tone of ordinary circulation pennies. The absence of a mint mark under the year 2002 is crucial. It should be completely blank, no faint D, no worn-out P, nothing at all. But that's not all. Check the rim. On regular 2002 pennies, the edge is slightly raised and uniform. On this rare variant, it's subtly thicker on one side, a striking error that hints at its prototype origin. Flip it over, and look at the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The columns should appear sharper, more defined, almost carved rather than stamped. It's a detail most people overlook. Pause for a moment. How many times have you held a penny and never really looked at it? Think about all the years, all the coins that have passed through your hands. Could one of them have been that million-dollar treasure? Every serious collector knows that the biggest finds often come from the smallest places. A jar of coins in the kitchen, an old coffee can in the garage, a forgotten roll from the bank. That's where legends hide. The man who discovered the first 2002 no-mint Mark Liberty penny said he found it in a box labeled for parking meters. But here's where the story gets stranger. The mint never officially confirmed the existence of this coin. There are no public records, no design notes, no production reports matching its metal composition. That means it might have been an experimental test strike, a minting accident, or, as some believe, a deliberate test that slipped through the cracks. For years, whispers circulated among insiders. Some claimed a handful of these test pieces were produced during a secret modernization project, testing alternate metals for the penny's future. The project was shelved, the prototypes destroyed, except for a few that mysteriously disappeared. Could one of them have found its way into circulation in 2002? That's the million-dollar question. Collectors hunt for this coin like modern-day treasure seekers. They scour eBay listings, sift through bank rolls, attend estate sales, all searching for the same impossible prize. Because if you find one, the reward isn't just money. It's history, discovery, and proof that miracles still happen in the most ordinary corners of American life that an mint mark beneath it. Third, a lustrous, satin-like finish that looks almost silver under certain light. Fourth, a slightly uneven rim, and sharper Lincoln Memorial details on the reverse. Lastly, the sound. Tap it lightly on a table. A normal penny gives a dull, flat tone. This one rings faintly higher, like a chime, a tiny metallic clue to its unusual composition. Every 2 or 3 years, another example surfaces. Sometimes it's at a coin show. Sometimes it's discovered by accident. A child sorting change for a school project, an elderly man cleaning his desk drawer, a widow going through her late husband's collection. Each time, the reaction is the same: shock, disbelief, and then the overwhelming realization that a simple penny could change everything. Think of it: a coin that cost 1 cent to make, now valued over $1 million. It's the ultimate symbol of hidden potential, the idea that even the smallest things can carry unimaginable worth. The 2002 No Mint Mark Liberty penny isn't just a collectible. It's a reminder that history doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it sits quietly in your change jar, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer to. So tonight, take a few minutes. Empty that drawer, open that old coin jar, look through every penny. Study the dates. Search for that missing mint mark. Look for that rare, glowing finish. Because the next great discovery in American coin history might not be locked away in a museum or owned by a wealthy collector. It might be sitting right there in your home, right now. People laughed at first when stories of the $1 million penny surfaced. But every great discovery starts with disbelief. And when the truth emerges, it rewrites history. One man's curiosity turned a single coin into a fortune. But it's not. Somewhere out there, an ordinary-looking 1981 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark at all, has shocked collectors and changed lives forever. This is the story of a coin that hides in plain sight. A coin that could be in your pocket right now. A coin that might just make you a millionaire. Let's start with what makes this coin so mysterious. In 1981, the U.S. Mint was preparing for a major change: the transition from copper to a new, cheaper zinc composition that would begin the very next year. But as the presses thundered away producing billions of pennies, something unusual happened. A small number of coins escaped quality control. A few were struck under conditions so unique, so pristine, that decades later collectors can hardly believe they exist. You might think a penny is just a penny. But this is a treasure hidden in plain sight. The 1981 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny from the Philadelphia Mint is one of the most talked about and sought-after 1-cent coins in American history. And the reason is both technical and deeply human. Think about it. You've held thousands of these little copper coins in your life. You've handed them to cashiers, dropped them in vending machines, ignored them in tip jars. But what if one of those coins, the same shape, the same color, the same weight, was secretly worth a fortune? What if the difference between an ordinary cent and a life-changing discovery was just a tiny detail most people overlook? That's what makes this coin so powerful. You see, in 1981, the Philadelphia Mint didn't mark its pennies with a P. That means no mint mark at all. On its own, that's not rare. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins were struck using an early die that created exceptionally sharp details: crisp edges, a flawless Lincoln portrait, and a mirror-like surface known as a proof-like finish. These were not meant for circulation. Yet somehow, a handful escaped. Collectors believe these rare, high-grade examples, the ones with perfect luster, no wear, and no visible mint mark, are worth small fortunes today. Some auction examples have been estimated at over $1 million when in pristine condition. You're sorting through a box of old coins, just passing time. You pick up a penny that looks a little different, brighter maybe, or smoother, or heavier. You tilt it under a light and notice how the edges shine. That tiny glint could be your first clue that you're holding something extraordinary. Every collector's heart skips a beat in that moment. The what-if moment. It's the same feeling that's driven treasure hunters for generations. That hope that something small and overlooked could be worth a life-changing fortune. Now let's take a closer look. Here's how to know if your 1981 penny could be the one. First, check the front, the obverse, where Lincoln's profile faces right. Look just below the date. If there's no letter at all, no D for Denver and no S for San Francisco, then you have a Philadelphia coin, the famous no mint mark variety. But that's only the beginning. Next, look for exceptional sharpness in Lincoln's hair, jawline, and coat. On high-value examples, These details appear deeply struck and beautifully defined. Under light, the fields, the flat areas around Lincoln, should gleam like a mirror. That's what experts call proof-like. Then, flip the coin over. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse should have clear lines, sharp steps, and no smudging around the edges. Look especially at the AM in America. On rare dies, the letters are sharply separated, a telltale sign of a precision strike. Finally, check the color. While most 1981 pennies have darkened with time, the million-dollar examples still glow with a reddish luster, untouched by circulation. Now pause for a moment and think about what that means. Millions of Americans have handled this same design, this same year. Yet only a few realized they were touching a masterpiece worth a fortune. That's the beauty of coin collecting. History hides in your hands. And there's another twist. Some experts believe a few 1981 pennies were struck using leftover proof dies intended for collectors' sets. These coins, though meant for display, were accidentally released into the wild. That's why some of the most valuable ones look too perfect, too detailed, too shiny for circulation. These are the hidden treasures that make collectors lose sleep, that it's not just about money, it's about discovery. The thrill of uncovering something no one else noticed. The emotional rush of holding a piece of history that survived the odds. And when that discovery could be worth over $1 million, the excitement becomes almost unreal. But don't make the mistake of thinking you need fancy tools or a lab. All it takes is a magnifying glass, good light, and patience. The 1981 no-mint mark penny doesn't scream its value. It whispers it, quietly, humbly, waiting for the right person to notice. Every great coin find starts with curiosity. One man in Pennsylvania found a pristine 1981 penny while rolling coins for the bank, and later learned it could fetch tens of thousands. Another collector bought a jar of pennies at a garage sale, only to discover one worth more than his car. That's the magic of it, because behind every coin is a story of history, craftsmanship, and the human drive to find meaning in small things. The 1981 no-mint mark penny embodies that story perfectly. It's not flashy, it's not gold or silver, but it carries a quiet power, the kind that can turn an ordinary moment into a legend. So the next time you come across a penny, don't ignore it. Pick it up. Look closer. Maybe it's worn and dull. Maybe it's bright and flawless. But take a second to see what others might have missed. Because once in a lifetime, a single coin can change everything. Imagine that. A single cent, a piece of metal so common we barely notice it, carrying a hidden value of over $1 million. Imagine finding a single penny, a simple, ordinary coin that you've walked past 1,000 times, and realizing it's worth $1.3 million. That's not a fantasy. That's the story of a 1984 Lincoln penny that shocked the entire collecting world. A coin so rare, so perfectly flawed, that it turned pocket change into pure treasure. For most people, the 1984 Lincoln penny is nothing special. You see Lincoln's familiar profile, the word Liberty, the date 1984, and that's it. You might drop it in a jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that among the billions of these coins minted that year, one tiny detail, invisible to most eyes, could make all the difference between 1 cent and over $1 million? It all begins in the minting rooms of the U.S. Mint, during a time when machines ran hot, day and night, pressing thousands of coins per minute. In 1984, a small, almost invisible mistake occurred, a doubling error that affected Lincoln's portrait itself. It wasn't on the date, it wasn't on the lettering. It was right on Lincoln's ear. A second, faint ear appeared behind the first, a double ear so subtle that it looked like a trick of the light. But to collectors, this was no illusion. It was a miracle in copper. Now imagine being the first person to notice that second ear. Someone, somewhere, looked at an ordinary penny under magnification and froze. That single moment changed everything. Because that discovery meant that one coin, minted without a mark, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, held a minting error so perfect, so clear, that its value skyrocketed. But here's the real twist. Most people think a coin needs a mint mark to be valuable. They're wrong. This 1984 Lincoln penny has no mint mark at all, struck in Philadelphia. Yet it's worth more than a luxury car, more than a house, more than most people earn in a lifetime. It's the kind of find that turns hobbyists into millionaires overnight. Start by holding it under a bright light. Focus on Lincoln's jawline and ear. A normal penny will show one clear ear. But if you spot a faint duplicate, a soft shadow of a second ear, you may be holding a double-die penny. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone's zoom camera. Look carefully. The doubling is bold enough that once you see it, you can't unsee it. That little shadow is what separates a coin worth 1 cent from a coin worth over $1 million. Collectors across America are now hunting for it. Coin shops, auction houses, even banks have started to check their stockpiles. People have gone through jars, rolls, and even old coffee cans full of change, hoping lightning will strike. And sometimes it does. A lucky collector pulled one out of circulation, sold it at auction, and watched the bids climb into the 6 figures, and then 7. It was a moment that left the entire hobby stunned. Think about what that means. Every coin you handle has a story. Every penny could carry a secret. The 1984 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't rare because of its metal. It's rare because of its mistake. That's the beauty of coin collecting. The tiniest imperfections can lead to unimaginable fortune. Maybe you've had a jar sitting in your kitchen for years, full of pennies you've ignored. Maybe your grandparents kept a few old coins tucked away in a drawer. What if one of them, right now, is this exact penny? What if the next coin you pick up off the sidewalk isn't worthless, but worth $1 million? This is why collectors don't just look, they see. They know that history hides in plain sight. They know that ordinary can become extraordinary in an instant. And the 1984 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny proves it. Could this be the coin that changes everything? Take a deep breath. Tilt it under the light. Zoom in. That faint second ear, that little doubling. It's the whisper of history telling you. Look closer. Many people have walked past these coins. They've spent them without knowing. They've handed $1 million treasure across a counter for a pack of gum. But you don't have to make that mistake. You can be the one who finds it, recognizes it, and changes your life forever. So tonight, when the house is quiet, grab that jar of pennies. Lay them out on the table. Check every 1984. Watch the details under the light. Because hidden among those common coins might be one that's anything but ordinary. One that carries the weight of history, the thrill of discovery, and the value of a lifetime.